Responding to his uncle getting cancelled again,
But let's
Susan.
get started with TYT drama. Okay, so what
Oh,
happened?
what?
A couple of weeks ago, Anna basically popped off and said, like, I don't want to be called a
Oh, his
birthing
son with the
person. I'm
uterus?
sick and
Huh?
tired of this idea. I'm a woman. I'm not a birthing person. I will never be called a birthing person. You can never call me a birthing person. Birthing person, birthing person, birthing person, birthing person, blah, 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 blah. Now, for many people, it was like, what? Like, who the did this to you? Like, I don't, what do you
And
mean?
so
Like,
she
are there
trans,
just
so
people going around saying, like, you're a
I have no
birthing
idea
person?
this one.
No, I don't think so. It was one of those things where, like, what she's saying isn't like unreasonable. You know what I mean? Because being reduced to your like reproductive capabilities would be really ridiculous. And that's precisely why nobody uses it in
And
the real
no one
world. It's
says that.
utilized in either academic
And
concepts
batting
or
person, huh?
medical concepts, right? It's either used in medicine where it would work, or in academia. Perhaps there are some weirdos and over the top hypersensitive people that will deploy it. Okay. She also talked about exactly what you're saying now. Law to meltdowns over wanting to be referred to as a woman rather than a birthing person is pretty wild. I'll never apologize for that, especially as the biological woman who's had a lifetime being told I'm less than. I'm a woman. No apologies. I'll just say it like this.
Jay.
It's not a
Huh?
very
Less than a what?
good time to be trans online. Not a very good time to be trans in general, but it's
I
certainly not a
mean,
good time to be
it's about
openly
them.
trans on the internet. And the internet is a very important place for trans people. One, because they are extremely online, and 90% of them are coders and love shit posting. But also, other than the jokes, it's an
I
important
don't
place for
think
them to be
online
able to gather some
trans
support that they
is
do
a
not have in
representative
their
of the whole trans
real
community.
lives, right? So it's huge. It's the only outlet you have. It's their only source of community. And Farika's always
So
been
there are
making it
some pretending
so
to
that
be trans and all.
they are robbed of their only source of community. It is important to me because I can control so much more of how I present myself and how people see me. Anna said birthing person thing, which was stupid. It was silly. But you know what? Here's one thing you're not supposed to do in that circumstance: double down, triple down, quadruple down, which she did. And then Jank got in, and Jank started defending her too. Obviously, TYT also runs into the same issues that I run into on a regular basis of like having a load of unhinged haters that want to tackle every single drama that they're in, want to elevate it, want to heighten it. But then there's also some very legitimate and very valid concerns that leftist people have, or leftist spaces have with TYT, especially as it pertains to their commentary over criminal justice, their commentary over crime and punishment, which has definitely taken a somewhat, I would say, if I'm being as charitable as possible, a reactionary slant. So when the trans line dropped, they basically were like, a lot of people were like, oh, that's it. They're making like a rightward shift. And I think that they're going to stop covering trans issues? No, I don't. And I said this before. I said this originally. Do I think that they're going to stop covering issues? Absolutely not. Of course they're going to keep covering trans issues. Do I think that they're transphobic? I don't even think that they're transphobic overall. But this kind of output is literally lending credence to transphobes. That's it. The moment that you see Ben Shapiro
Mm.
retweet you, the moment that you see Carrie Lake be like, oh, thank God you're popping off on this, that's the moment where you go, oh, no, I'm being used. I'm being used by right wing forces. I should definitely put a stop to this immediately and make sure that everybody understands what my principles are. Okay, this happens to me regularly. People put words in my mouth. People go crazy over shit that I say, not understanding the actual. Not understanding what my like legitimate, genuine, well thought out, well crafted perspective is on any kind of matter, and they just like hyper focus on one moment or one instance, and they go, oh, that's you. I'm reducing you to that. That's what you're doing. And the more you double down, the more you triple down, the more people are going to think that is, as a matter of fact, you. This is something that I understand because I've been through my fair share of idiotic controversies. Now, I love Oleyemi. I think Oleyemi is great. I'm excited to have her on the broadcast. Hopefully, eventually, her and Lol Overruled were supposed to come on the broadcast. She's a wonderful person. She does a lot for she does a lot for criminal justice reform, and she's great. But here is what her take was, I guess, against Anna. I think this like escalated basically because she had been on the Young Turks, and then she went on another show, and on that show she said something about Anna. I don't really know what it was, but let's hear what.
It's bad faith. They know there's a difference between gender and sex. They know that it is very possible for someone to be born a biological male or a biological female, but in terms of gender, identify differently as a male or non-binary, but they still have the biological capacity, the physical capacity to get pregnant. So that's why the language, the rhetoric is inclusive to include those people. It is not a big deal. But they make it.
Oh my God, I had never seen this. Damn, she's spitting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, this is the truth.
A big
Okay.
deal. They manufacture it into a big deal because that's all Republicans are.
Yeah, I mean, she's absolutely right on this. And honestly, I'm not surprised that she's absolutely right on this.
Namun
I'm more
sobat,
surprised that
Republicans.
she's making a big deal about it now. Yes, Tyler, I live in California. I don't know. Anyway, lol, the meltdown's over. Wanted to be referred to as a, wait, what is this? You made transphobic statements, and we spent an hour of the show defending you from allegations of being a TERF rather than addressing the substantive problems with your comment. I said I felt like they were coddling you, and I stand by that. If you think that makes me a hater, knock yourself out, Miss Mamas, is what she said.
I want her to change her mind and to understand what she did wrong. Because if it's just...
Yeah, this was the show I was referencing. It's like Matt Binder and David Dole, Mike Figueroa, Blair Zahn, Lance from the Surfs, and Oliemi is on here as well, and Kenny. I don't know some of these people. Anyway, they were having this conversation, and I'm sure that they had like a well thought out, reasonable discussion that went on for a very long time. That's how leftist podcasts go. It's not my shtick. It's not my fees. I'll just say it like that. But you know, there's definitely a market for it. And then of course the one clippable moment is like, oh, Binder, sorry.
So,
No, of course.
But that's not the same. That's not the same, though. That's not the same.
I have to say it. Oh my God, I have to say it. I like Anna, but I feel a little bit like this is the coddle the white lady hour. And you know why? And you know why? I thought this even earlier because before this, the Majority Report put out a thing too, and everybody else, and I was like, boy, everybody sure feels the need to trip over their fucking feet to come out to defend her for getting cooked when all of the people.
I think the reason why a lot of people say that, like, I don't think that
Mhm.
myself included, say that like we don't think Anna is transphobic, even though I don't really know what's going on with her now, because like
It's
this
not
addresses
going to the
this
extreme.
literally. But the reason why people say that is because like there's a long history of speaking out against transphobia within TYT. Like that's it. And when you have a long history of speaking out against transphobia, when you have this like one sidestep, I think people will, especially people that know them personally, myself included, will most likely go, wait, hold on. Like this is not, you know, they're being weird, but I don't think that they are, you know, I don't think they're transphobic.
People get cooked all the time. Nobody. I have yet to watch a video of anybody defending me from getting cooked. I've never seen it. I've never seen everybody come out. She has a lot of bad takes, and then she gets cooked because she comes out unprovoked. She asked to be cooked. She got up today and she said, "Twitter, cook me."
Right. Listen,
I have yet to delete the tweet. I want to make it clear.
Like this stuff, it's just like it's such a weird situation because I don't agree with Anna's take. I don't agree with her perspective, and I don't think that it's productive for her to keep doubling down. But I've been in her shoes in circumstances where I think is not valid for me to be the main character on Twitter. And I've been in her shoes in circumstances where it is valid for me to be the main character on Twitter. And the thing you want to do when you're in that situation is always double down and be like, you're misunderstanding my point. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to say it over and over and over again. And it's like, it's extremely online. I haven't really seen anything that she has said. I just know her as a person. I've worked with them for years. Obviously, Cenk is also my uncle, who I know, you know, deeply for that reason. This is just 100% Anna being weirdly hyper-focused on a singular aspect of an issue she's otherwise fine on. Then people are taking that and extrapolating to her whole belief system. Both are wrong and focusing on the wrong thing. Yeah, I think, like, you know, cooler minds, calmer hearts will prevail in this circumstance. You held Cenk when he was a baby.
Drama, by the way.
Cenk held me when I was a baby. Here, Cenk said, we didn't repeatedly emphasize anything. Anna posted the most innocuous tweet of all time, which now a lot of you are saying was perfectly normal. Then leftists lost their shit and started saying it was an attack against trans people, etc. There's absolutely no question about who started this and made an enormous deal out of it. Everyone felt like they had to do a video explaining how they're more holy than us when no real voters on the left agree with you at all. Please don't pretend that we are the ones making a big deal out of it. And then Emma said, the repeated emphasis and reaction have been on social media. I can't speak to the segments you guys have done on the show. I'm not trying to be pure. I'm engaging with you, even though it's uncomfortable for me because I love you guys and I want TYT to be on the right side here. Emma used to work for the Young Turks as well. And then Cenk said, we didn't repeatedly emphasize anything. Anna posted the most innocuous tweet of all time, which a lot of you are saying is perfectly normal. Oh, sorry. We already covered that. And then Cenk went one step further and quote tweeted Emma and said, good news, we are on the right side. Mission accomplished. Now let me talk to you in a patronizing way about all your opinions I need to correct. I was trying to express my love and appreciation for the company that gave me my start and for my good friend Anna within the context of a disagreement. This reaction is pretty shocking to me, Cenk. Have a good one. Now, Emma is great. She's awesome. It's just like, this is not great. It's not great at all. It's really bad. I've been in Cenk's shoes in the past as like someone who's at that moment through anger and not being understanding, someone who has basically been like the main character on Twitter, and then like the constant urge to double down and say, I've been in this battle for years and years. You know what I mean? I did that with the Hogwarts shit, which by the way, I was absolutely right on. And unlike
was
this, that wasn't like
legacy.
a marginal tiny issue, which I also openly admit it was a marginal tiny issue in the grand scheme of things, but was like something that even trans people, came to understand was ultimately still, a failure of movement. Plenty of trans people themselves were critical of it later down the line, but it doesn't matter. You constantly have a interest and need to double down. In this circumstance, I think what they should be doing as far as their output is be like, look, here's what I would do. Let's say, let me put my PR hat on for a moment, okay? I'm doing PR for the Young Turks. What would I do in this circumstance? I would say, guys, a lot of confusion has caused this internal rift on Twitter amongst prominent leftist content creators, activists, and the like, okay? I want to clarify something, okay? I overreacted to this birthing person controversy, okay? I think that it's
Overreacting, Andy.
not necessarily utilized or deployed outside of academic circles, and even if it is by like weird, well-intentioned liberals who are just like thinking that they're doing the right thing or whatever, who cares? It is only and perhaps almost always weaponized by the right to make it like a bigger deal than it actually is. And I, in that brief moment, in a moment of weakness, lend my statements to also further that right-wing agenda at a time when trans people are constantly under attack by way of legislation and certainly online through mass harassment, cyberstalking, doxing. Obviously, this is the least significant thing to hyper-focus on. This is not a tweet. I'm just saying this is what I would say, okay? It's irrelevant. I have always fought for trans rights and will continue to fight for trans rights. And I think that we should all focus on exactly that rather than anything else, okay? That's it.
It's gonna be still possible immediately get cancelled if you say something bad about trans. Episode